The human stood at the center of the great alien station. The hall was wide and cold, built from dark metal that reflected soft blue lights. Strange symbols moved slowly across the walls. Some were tall and thin. Others were short and wide. Some had eyes. Some did not. All of them were watching him. Humans were rare here. Most species in the galaxy believed humans were weak, too emotional, too soft. They said humans talked too much and felt too deeply. That was why the human delegate was expected to stay quiet. Follow the rules. The human knew this. He kept his hands open and his body calm. His heart beat fast, but he did not show it. He had trained for this moment for many years. This meeting was not just about peace. It was about trust. Across from him stood the alien woman. She was tall and still, her skin smooth and pale silver. Her eyes were dark and sharp, watching everything. Her face showed no emotion at all. She belonged to a species known for control. They never showed feelings, never smiled, never cried. To them, emotions were weakness. Her name was unimportant. To the council, what mattered was her rank. She was a cultural observer, a judge of behavior. If she decided humans were a threat, you will answer only what is asked. The human nodded. Yes. She studied him for a long moment. Her eyes moved slowly over his face, as if searching for something. Fear, anger, pride. She found none. Something small changed in her expression. Just a tiny shift around her eyes. Something most species would not notice. But the human did. He noticed the way her eyes softened for half a second. Spoke. You have a beautiful smile. The words were simple, quiet, honest. The hall froze. Every sound stopped. Lights flickered. A sharp warning tone echoed through the chamber. Alien guards moved instantly, weapons rising. Several council members stood in shock. That sentence was not allowed. Compliments were forbidden in her culture. To speak of appearance was a personal attack. To mention a smile was worse. Smiles were private, unspoken, hidden. The human realized his mistake too late. The alien woman did not move. For one long second, she stood perfectly still. Not in fear. In confusion. The human felt his chest tighten. He did not step back. He did not apologize. He simply waited. The council leader shouted in a sharp tone, "Human, you have violated protocol." The guards took another step forward. Then something unexpected happened. The alien woman raised her hand. The guards stopped. Her breathing changed. Slow at first, then uneven. Her fingers trembled, just a little. The sensors in the hall began to react. Readings spiked. Emotions were being detected. That was impossible. Her species was not supposed to feel this way. The human watched silently. He did not understand what he had done, but he knew it mattered. The alien woman lifted her head. Her eyes locked onto his. For the first time in her life, someone had seen her not as a title, not as a threat, not as a rule, but as a person. Her lips moved. Slowly. Carefully. She smiled, not a controlled expression. Some aliens stepped back in fear. Others stared in disbelief. The council screens flashed warnings: emotional breach, cultural failure, unknown reaction. The human did not move. He simply smiled back. The galaxy had just witnessed something it had never seen before, and this was only the beginning. The hall did not return to silence. Instead, it filled with fear. The alien woman's smile was still there, frozen on her face, as if she herself did not understand it. Around her, the council members began to whisper. Some voices were sharp, others were shaking. Screens around the hall flashed red symbols, warning of a cultural breach. This was not supposed to happen. Her species had strict rules. From birth, they were taught control. Emotions were dangerous. Smiles were private. Compliments were forbidden. To speak of them was seen as a mental strike, a way to weaken the mind. That was why humans were watched so closely. Humans spoke freely. They laughed, they cried, they touched. To the galaxy, this made them unstable. The council leader stepped forward, his voice loud and angry. "Observer, step away from the human. You are compromised." The alien woman did not move. Her smile slowly faded, but something had already changed. Her chest felt tight. Her thoughts were loud. Her mind, once quiet and ordered, was filled with strange warmth. She had studied humans for years. She had watched their stories, their art, their emotions, but no human had ever spoken directly to her like that. The human stood still, surrounded by guards. He did not raise his voice. He did not defend himself. His heart was racing, but his face remained calm. "I meant no harm," he said softly. Those words made the council even more uneasy. Intent did not matter in galactic law, only effect. The alien woman finally turned toward the council. Her voice trembled slightly when she spoke. He followed no rule, but he showed no threat. The room went silent again. No member of her species had ever defended a human. The council leader's eyes narrowed. This is why emotional species are kept at a distance. The human listened. He realized now that his words had caused more than embarrassment. They had touched something deep, something hidden. Guards moved closer. Many expected the human to panic, to beg, to argue. He did not. Instead, he spoke again. "If kindness is a crime," he said, "then I will accept the judgment." That sentence shocked the hall even more than the first. Kindness. The word itself made some aliens flinched. The alien woman felt something break inside her. Not pain, not fear. Relief. For the first time, she understood why humans were dangerous, not because of weapons, but because they felt without shame. Her species had buried emotions for generations. They believed control was strength. But now she wondered if control was only a cage. The council began to argue loudly. Some demanded the human be removed. Others warned that harming a human diplomat could lead to war. The alien woman stood between them and the human. "This reaction," she said slowly, "was not forced, it was awakened." That word echoed in the hall. Awakened. The human looked at her with quiet respect. He did not smile again. He did not speak. He let her choose. The council leader slammed his staff against the floor. "Observer, you are relieved of duty. Step aside." She hesitated. For one long moment, she considered obeying. Then she took one step closer to the human instead. Gasps filled the hall. "This is my duty," she said, "to observe truth. And today, the truth is this: humans do not attack the mind. They remind it." Alarms rang. Guards froze, unsure of who to obey. Across the galaxy, systems began recording this moment. A single human sentence had shaken an ancient belief. The human lowered his head slightly, not in victory, but in respect. And deep inside the alien woman's mind, a thought formed that terrified her. If one compliment could do this, what else could humanity change? The alarms did not stop. Red lights flashed across the council hall. Symbols of warning filled the air, floating above the floor. The alien guards stood frozen, their weapons raised but shaking slightly. None of them had been trained for this moment. Because this moment was impossible, the alien woman stood very still. Her hand was still raised, stopping the guards. Her breathing was uneven now, no longer calm or controlled. Every sensor connected to her body showed strange readings, emotional activity. High emotional activity. Her species was not supposed to feel this. For thousands of years, her people had followed one rule above all others: control the mind, silence the heart. They believed emotions caused chaos, wars, collapse. That was why smiles were hidden, words were limited, and feelings were buried deep. Yet now, all of that was breaking. The council leader stared at her in disbelief. "Observer," he said sharply, "you are displaying unstable behavior." She did not answer. Her eyes were locked on the human. The human stood quietly. He simply waited, as if he understood that this moment was the punishment for laughing once, long ago, of being praised for feeling nothing. And then, one human voice, "You have a beautiful smile." The words were still echoing inside her. Her lips trembled again. The council members whispered louder now. Some demanded immediate removal of both the human and the observer. Others feared what the galaxy would think if this moment spread beyond the station. The human finally spoke, his voice low and careful. "I did not mean to cause harm." That sentence hit her harder than the compliment. Harm. He thought he had harmed her, but she did not feel harmed. She felt seen. Slowly she lowered her hand. The guards did not move. No one dared to break the moment. She turned her head slightly, as if the movement itself was new to her. Her voice came out softer than before. "You spoke without command," she said, then answered simply, "Because it was true." The hall went silent again. Truth was a dangerous word in the galaxy. The alien woman felt something warm rise in her chest. She did not understand it, but she did not stop it either. This was not weakness. This felt like release. The council leader stepped forward, angry now. "This proves it," he said. "Humans destabilize advanced species. This is why they must be limited." The human looked at the council, then back at Then maybe the galaxy fears honesty. That sentence sent a ripple through the hall. Some aliens lowered their weapons. Others looked away. Not forced, not trained. Chosen. She turned fully toward the council. "You taught us that emotions destroy order," she said. "But what if they create understanding?" The council leader raised his voice. "Enough. This session is ending." Before he could give the command, the alien woman took one step forward, one step toward the human. That single step felt louder than any alarm. "This reaction," she said, clearly, was not caused by control failure. It was caused by connection. The word echoed through the hall. Connection. No one spoke. The galaxy had studied humans for their weapons, their ships, their numbers. No one had studied their hearts. The human lowered his eyes in respect, not victory. He did not smile again. He allowed her to stand alone, and she did. In that moment, the alien woman understood something terrifying and beautiful. Humans did not change others by force. They changed them by being human. And the galaxy was not ready for what that meant. Asterisk. The council hall was quiet now, not because the danger had passed, but because something deeper had begun. The alarms were silent, yet the tension felt heavier than before. Every being in the hall sensed it. The moment was no longer about rules or protocol. It was about truth. The alien woman stood between the council and the human. Her posture was steady, but inside her mind, walls were breaking. Thoughts she had never allowed before were now clear and loud. For the first time in her life, she questioned everything she had been taught. Her species believed emotions were poison. From the moment they could understand words, they were trained. Love was never spoken. They were told that long ago. She began to wonder if it was complete. She turned her head slightly and spoke, not to the council, but to. "You did not study our rules," she said. "No," the human replied honestly. "Then why did you understand me?" The question surprised even her. The human thought for a moment. "Because humans listen with more than the mind." Some council members reacted with discomfort. Others with curiosity. The alien woman closed her eyes briefly. In that darkness, memories rose, old recordings. Data she had reviewed many times before but never questioned. She remembered something strange now. The oldest records did not speak of emotional collapse. They spoke of fear. Fear of losing control. Fear of pain. We were silenced by it. The words caused unrest. Some council members stood. Others began to argue. The human listened quietly. He understood now that this moment was bigger than diplomacy. Bigger than humans. It was about a civilization waking up. The council leader shook his head. "You are rewriting history," he said. "No," she replied. "I am remembering it." The ancient footage, early recordings of her species. They laughed. They touched hands. Softened. We were alive once. Fully alive. The human felt a deep respect grow in his chest. He said nothing. This was her story now. One council member spoke quietly. "Why were these records hidden?" The answer came easily. "And instead of learning balance, we chose silence." She turned back to the human. "Your words did not create emotion in me," she said. "They revealed what was already there." The council leader stepped back, unsettled. The human finally spoke again. "On Earth," he said, "we feel pain too, we still do. But we believe pain is not the enemy. Avoiding it is." That sentence settled deep into the room. The alien woman felt something new again. Not fear. Not confusion. Hope. For the first time, she did not suppress it. She took a slow breath and addressed the council. "Humans are not dangerous because they feel," she said. "They are dangerous because they remind others how to feel." That word again. Dangerous. But now it meant something different. Not destruction. Change. The council did not vote. They could not. The beginning of a shift. The alien woman stepped back slightly. And in that moment, the galaxy took its first step toward something it had long forgotten. The reaction spread faster than anyone expected. Within hours, recordings of the council hall were shared across galactic networks. The moment the alien woman smiled. The moment she defended the human. The moment ancient records appeared on the screens. Every major species watched. And many were afraid. Fear does not come from weakness, it comes from change. And humanity had become the symbol of change. Emergency meetings were called on distant worlds. Leaders spoke in harsh tones. Analysts replayed the footage again and again. One simple human sentence had broken a belief that lasted for thousands of years, that made humans dangerous. Back on the station, the council hall was filled again. This time, more guards. More barriers. More distance between the human and the alien woman. The council leader spoke first. "The galaxy is unstable," he said, "and humans are the cause." The human delegate stood alone at the center, unarmed, surrounded by power. He did not argue. He did not shout. He listened. The alien woman stood among her people, but she no longer felt fully part of them. She had crossed a line. There was no going back. A new voice joined the council. A projection from a distant world. Tall, sharp, cold. "Humans must be restricted," the voice said. "Their influence is uncontrolled." Others agreed. Some demanded humans be removed from shared stations. Some suggested limits on human speech in alien spaces. Words were being treated like weapons. The human looked around the hall. He understood now. This was not about him. It was about fear of what humans represented. Choice. The alien woman stepped forward. "You fear humans because they remind you of yourselves," she said. Murmurs filled the room. "You call emotion." The council leader raised his hand. "Enough. This is no longer philosophy. This is security." Guards moved closer to the human. The alien woman felt anger rise. Not wild. Not violent. Clear and sharp. She had been taught that anger was dangerous. Now she knew silence was worse. "If you harm him," she said, "you prove his point." The council leader paused. "And what point is that?" "That humanity does not conquer with force," she replied. "They change the battlefield." The room went quiet. The human spoke calmly. Some aliens looked away. Others watched closely. A vote was called. Emergency powers. Temporary restrictions on human movement. Human diplomats to be escorted at all times. Prison, but not trust either. The alien woman felt disappointment, but not defeat. The human accepted the decision without protest. As guards approached, he turned to the alien woman. "Thank you," he said quietly. She nodded. "You gave us something back." As the human was escorted away, whispers followed him. Some fearful, some curious, some thoughtful. Across the galaxy, reactions grew stronger. On some worlds, humans were banned. On others, humans were invited. Parents asked why their children had never been taught to smile freely. Artists began creating again. Old songs were remembered, and leaders panicked. Because once a thought is planted, it cannot be erased. The alien woman watched the hall empty. She felt the weight of what she had started. Humanity had not fired a weapon, had not threatened, had not demanded. And yet, the galaxy was changing. Slowly, quietly. She realized then that this was only the beginning of resistance, and the beginning of understanding. The galaxy expected chaos. After the Council's decision, many believed humans would react with anger. Some predicted protests, others feared war. History had taught the galaxy that when pressure increased, violence followed. But that did not happen. Humans did not shout. They did not threaten. They listened. Across human worlds, the recordings from the Council were played in public spaces. Children watched the alien woman smile. Speaker said, "That is not weakness. That is how we understand." That message spread quietly through the galaxy. On shared stations, humans followed every new rule without complaint. They spoke politely. They offered help. They treated every being with respect, even those who feared them. This confused many species. They had expected resistance. Instead, they saw patience. The alien woman observed all of this from a distance, but not silenced. They thanked service drones. They apologized when they made mistakes. An alien worker collapsed from exhaustion. A human engineer stopped and helped without being asked. On another world, a human medic stayed with an injured alien long after duty hours ended. Stories, weapons, and numbers. No one had measured kindness. The alien woman realized this was the human advantage. Not. He was restricted, watched, limited. Yet every guard who walked beside him noticed something strange. He always asked their names. He always thanked them. Some guards found this uncomfortable. Others found it calming. One guard finally asked him, "Why do you act like this?" The human smiled gently. "Because you are here with me." That answer stayed with the guard long after. Across the Council worlds, pressure began to shift. Younger members questioned old rules. Artists returned to forgotten crafts. Music filled spaces that had been silent for centuries, not because humans demanded it, but because humans reminded them. The alien woman was invited to speak again. Not as an observer, as a witness. She stood before the Council and spoke calmly. "You feared that humans would change us," she said. "You were right, but change is not destruction." Some listened, some resisted, but none could deny what they were seeing. Humans did not force emotion. They made space for it. That was their strength. The human delegate was finally allowed to speak again. He stood before the Council, unchanged. "We do not ask you to be like us," he said. "We ask only that you be allowed to be yourselves." Alien woman felt tears rise again, and this time, she did not stop them. The galaxy had searched for strength in metal and fire. And missed the strongest force of all, humanity. The galaxy did not change in one moment. It changed slowly. Quietly. But everyone remembered where it began. The final Council session was held months later, in the same hall where the first smile had shocked the stars. The lights were softer now. The guards stood farther apart. The walls no longer felt cold. The human delegate stood once again at the center. This time, he was not alone. Beside him stood the alien woman. Not as an observer, not as a judge, but as a representative. The Council leader looked older, tired. The Galaxy had been in motion since that day, and motion was hard to stop. "We are here," the leader said, "to decide the future of interspecies relations." Her voice was calm, but strong. "We believed control made us strong," she said, "but control only kept us silent." She looked across the hall. Humans did not weaken us, they reminded us. The human did not interrupt. He let her speak. "We feared their emotions," she continued, "because we forgot our own." Screens around the hall lit up, showing moments from across the galaxy. Alien children laughing. Old music returning. Shared stations where humans and aliens worked side by side. Change had already happened. The council leader sighed. "What do humans want?" he asked. The human stepped forward. He spoke slowly, so every word could be understood. "We want to belong," he said. "Not above you, not below you, with you." The alien woman felt pride. Not just in him, in herself. Vote was taken. Not by force, not by fear, by choice. Human restrictions were lifted. Cultural exchange programs were approved. Not everyone agreed, but enough did. The decision echoed across the galaxy. On human worlds, there were no celebrations of victory, only quiet smiles. On alien worlds, something long lost returned. Choice. The alien woman met the human one last time, away from the cameras. "You changed everything," she said. He shook his head. "I only spoke the truth." She smiled, fully, freely, and that was enough. As the human prepared to leave the station, she stopped him. "Will you come back?" He thought for a moment. "If I'm invited." She nodded. "You will be." As his ship departed, the station watched in silence. No alarms, no fear, just understanding. Far across the stars, the story spread, not of a culture war, not of a conquest, but of a compliment, a simple sentence, a human voice, and a galaxy that remembered how to feel.